protect our daughters' futures, for they have so much to lose. Make radical decisions free from governmental rules. We sing for women's rights. And now we're here to sing to you, and not just for the sport, to tell the world that we must keep the right for which we fought, the right to plan our families and the freedom to abort. We sing for women's lives. No more lying in back alleys. We'll keep singing at these rallies until women everywhere are free to have a choice. We sing for women's lives.
So we're going to head down Main Street to Pleasant and then turn around and come back. And then we'll get ready for the speakers. We're going to be playing the offbeat drummers. They'll be playing as we march. I'm Debbie Pastridge-Clemmer. I'm the Vice Chair of the Northampton Democratic City Committee, but I'm not here in that capacity today. I'm here as a volunteer with the Valley Women's March. I want to thank the Offbeat Drummers for starting us off today. We are here today to mobilize and defend reproductive rights. The most recent laws in Texas are the most restrictive in the country, and they are inspiring other states to follow suit. This abortion ban will have less of an impact on women of means who have the money and resources to leave the state and seek an abortion. The majority of the women this law affects are those whose access to reproductive care will be radically reduced because they don't have the time, money, or support. What about those that are minors or those that have been raped? This law is a huge obstacle for them. These laws will have dire consequences and disproportionately affect BIPOC women and other marginalized groups. Today, you will hear from a wonderful and diverse panel of women, teen activists, doctors, lawyers, local politicians, professors, authors, and heads of abortion and reproductive rights groups who have agreed to speak about these draconian laws and what they and their groups are doing to help those most affected by these horrific laws. Our first speaker is Shanique Spalding. Shanique is a native of Kingston, Jamaica, and current resident of Springfield, Massachusetts.
How's everybody feeling? That's what I like to hear. Let's get a little chant going on because I wouldn't be an organizer if I didn't ask for a chant. You ready? Bands off our bodies! 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 Woo! All right, warriors, today is a great day to stand up and fight back. Today we are here to stand up for everyone's right to the care that they need. We are here to fight. We are here to stand in solidarity with the people of Texas. We are here to show that the U.S. Supreme Court, that the people support abortion access. We know that the Supreme Court has failed millions of Texans when it allowed politicians to ban abortion before most people know that they are pregnant and allowed bounty hunters to surveil and harass their neighborhoods. Now people in Texas seeking an abortion are being denied the care that they need. Patients are being forced to travel outside of the state for care or to carry pregnancies to term that are unwanted. The impact of this heinous abortion ban cannot be understated. Many Texans can't afford to travel hundreds of miles out of state, take time off of work, arrange childcare and transportation. For some, the cost is just one of the barriers. Immigration status and checkpoint concerns may also block people from this care. And let's be clear about who is being overwhelmingly harmed by this law. People just like me. People just like you, Black, Latino, Indigenous, and those with low incomes and people in rural areas, communities that already face immense barriers to healthcare across this country. This is the loudest alarm yet that abortion rights are in danger. It's in danger in Texas and it's in danger across this country. We're already seeing copycat bills, and on December 1st, the Supreme Court is hearing a Mississippi case that could render Roe versus Wade meaningless. Oh, yes! I don't know who was in the back, but I love the energy. Thank you. We must fight city by city, state by state to ensure that all people can access health care across this country. We're already facing the biggest fight that we can possibly imagine. We must fight for Texas, and we must fight for the people of Massachusetts who still face unjust barriers here. But Northampton has an amazing elected official, State Representative Lindsay Sabadosa, that has been a warrior at the State House, and I cannot thank you enough, my sister. girl is here from CLIP and from the Abortion Rights Fund. Thank you so much, my sister. I love you. Many of you fought this fight before. I know I was speaking to somebody who's been here, whose family for decades have been supporting Planned Parenthood. Thank you to you that I met today. Many of you have fought this fight before Roe versus Wade. Many of you started this fight in 2016 when the orangutan became president. And many of you started this fight after Kavanaugh got appointed his seat in the Supreme Court. I know many of you are tired, and so am I. I've been working for Planned Parenthood for 4 years, and I've lived through a lot. I'm also an immigrant woman who have lived through a lot. And I've seen the Black Lives Matter movement and lived through that as well. But I must ask you today to take up arms and get ready to fight, because this is the fight. This is the fight. I must ask you all to stand together, not just today, but for the many days ahead of us, for the many lives that we must save today, for the many lives that we must represent today, whether that be the people in your families, your friends, or even to the people to the left and right of you right now. I need you all to stand together today and every day. And let's give these people who think that they can control our bodies one hell of a fight. Are you ready to never back down? Are you ready to fight? Let's tell them, we won't go back. We won't go back. We won't go back. We won't go back. All right, keep that energy for the rest of our speakers today. Thank you so much. My name is Shanique again.
Thank you, Shanika. Dr. Shirley Jackson Whitaker is a kidney specialist, artist, and community activist. To quote Dr. Whitaker, "Take our talent and make it raw for change." She certainly lives by her words.
Mississippi, turn me around, keep on a-marching, keep on a-fighting until the change comes. That you allow me to read something I dedicate to someone I grew up with. And the title is Stand by Dr. Shirley Jackson Whitaker. If you stand after having sex, you won't get pregnant, was Ida Bay's words to me. I did not doubt what she said because I knew from my science class that if you are standing, gravity will pull everything down. Wanted to appear knowledgeable, I never told her that I did not have any idea what sex was about. That was a word I had never really heard. When it came to boys and girls, the only thing my mother told me was, "Girl, don't mess around out there and get pregnant." She never told me how you got pregnant. Over time, I learned a lot from Ida May, as she was smart and a lot of fun to be with. That girl knew how to make us laugh. When we were in the 11th grade, Ida May told me that she was going home with me. I was taken aback. No one ever went home with me. I lived on the outskirts of my hometown where my father had a small farm. No one visited us but my close relatives or our neighbors. I thought she was just kidding. But at the end of the school day, she appeared at my side and asked if I was ready to go. We walked the 1 to 2 miles to my home, and she stayed until dark, until she had to go home. For me, it was an unexpected evening, but a fun one. At the beginning of the next school day, I was told that Ida May was gone. My heart stopped when I was told she was pregnant and her parents had sent her away. I was never sure as to what really happened, but I knew sadly that my friend would no longer be a part of my world. He also told me that Ida May had been living in Savannah most recently and had got married and a few years before, and now had a 2-year-old son. Her husband had gotten into some trouble, and was on his way to prison when she realized she again was pregnant. She decided to have an abortion, which resulted in her death. We are now in 2021, where there is an all-out assault on women's rights to control their bodies. So now it's time for me to stand. Stand not over the dead bodies of people I love, but stand against those that would deny women the right to reliable reproductive information about and control over their bodies. For I believe my brilliant, life-loving friend would be here today if the right information and options were made available to her. So now I stand for Ida Mae and for all of the Ida Mays to come. To stand I must, to stand I will.
Anger as dangerous, irrational, shrill. This is by design. Because they know that if we channel our fury together, we can transform the world. We can.
Lindsay has always been vocal about women's issues and rights and continues to do so as our state representative. Good afternoon, everybody. So I want to start with a small celebration, because we've talked about a lot of bad things, but I want to remember that all of you out there, you helped pass the Roe Act in Massachusetts, so let's celebrate that. That work meant that people in Massachusetts who were trying to access later-term abortion care didn't have to travel out of this state. Is a huge victory for us. And when we are watching these other states, we need to remember that in Massachusetts, we can have victories. We deserve more victories. We need more victories, and we're going to have more victories. Now, I watched and hoped that the Supreme Court was going to stop SB8. But I knew they weren't. And I knew that that Mississippi case was gonna come to the court, and I'm worried about what's gonna happen. And I'm worried because I see a pattern in this country. And it's not just abortion rights, although we can't forget that abortion plays a huge role in this. And we shouldn't be afraid to say the word abortion. But we have to remember that all summer, state after state tried to pass laws limiting trans students from participating in high school sports. So this is about bodily autonomy and control. And as we stand here today, we need to bring, like so many speakers have before me, everyone in. Because whether you have a uterus or not, whether you ever plan to get pregnant, whether this matters to you in any way, shape, or form in your daily life, it matters to all of us, and we need all of our brothers and sisters and our siblings involved in the fight. So what are we going to fight for? We're going to fight to protect bodily autonomy. And I have a few ways that I've been trying to do this in the legislature, because, no offense, Cora, I am one of those legislators who's going to butt out there first and not after. So, one of the most expensive things that we have right now is reproductive health care. It's not always covered. And reproductive health care is not just abortion, it's reproductive loss, it's pregnancy, it's the whole thing. And I have a bill that would get rid of those copays and those deductibles.
Oh, hell yeah.
And because, like Kate said, if you can't afford it, it's not real access. So that's the fight in Massachusetts. The other bill that we need to work on is a bill that would provide medication abortions on our campuses. Now, Carrie got up
up here and she told you about how safe medication abortions are, right? I like to say I don't use Tylenol, I use shellfish. Medication abortion is safer than shellfish. Less adverse side effects. But when we look at access, we see that cost is prohibitive and that travel is prohibitive. Our students who are studying up in the Berkshires, they have an 8-hour bus ride to get to the closest clinic. 8 hours. At the Maritime Academy out on the Cape, 13 hours. That is in Massachusetts. So in our state, with good laws that support abortion, we are failing. One of the things that I do in my spare time is I volunteer for the Abortion Rights Fund of Western Massachusetts. But one of the things that happens when I'm volunteering, and it happens far too often, is I will help someone, I will fund a procedure, and that person will cry. Because it's unexpected that their healthcare needs are going to be met and paid for. Why in Massachusetts do people think their healthcare needs will not be met and paid for? That's our work, and that is our fight right here. So we're gonna join all of our neighbors in fighting ridiculous laws in Texas and in Mississippi and in any other state that tries to hinder bodily autonomy. But in Massachusetts, we are going to fight and we are going to win. When we fight, thank you.